Not long ago, the national debt was rising at a rate of roughly $1 trillion every 100 days. And while that pace has slowed some recently, our national debt is now on the verge of surpassing $35 trillion for the first time in history. Before we begin, remember to like this video and subscribe for more economic updates. The Congressional Budget Office was forced in June to revise its 2024 deficit forecast made just 4 months earlier because of how quickly the deficit is expanding. The agency changed its projection of a deficit coming in at $1.5 trillion by the end of the current fiscal year to $1.9 trillion, an increase by 27%. Well, it seems the news just keeps getting worse. In his review of the monthly Treasury statement for June, economist E.J. Antony, a research fellow at the Heritage Foundation, discovered the federal government that month spent $140 billion to service the national debt. Antony points out that not only is it the first time the government spent that much in a single month to service the debt, but the cost to service proved to be the single biggest line item expense on the June Treasury statement, far bigger than the $63 billion spent on defense and the $87 billion spent by the Department of Education, bigger even than the $129 billion spent by the Social Security Administration. And if that isn't sobering enough context, try this. The government saw $185 billion in individual income tax revenue in June. Matched up against the $140 billion in debt interest cost, that means effectively 76% of the taxes paid by American citizens in June went towards servicing the debt. As E.J. Antony himself put it, no roads, schools, military, or hospitals, just interest. Houston, we have a problem. Even Elon Musk weighed in with his displeasure by retweeting this message from X.com. I am glad 76% of the income tax I pay goes directly to important things, like interest on past government incompetence. The country finds itself in this trouble due to deficits that now consistently approach $2 trillion per year and rising debt costs. On that note, although talk persists that a rate cut may be around the corner, the nation's benchmark federal funds rate remains at its highest level in 23 years. In a message on X.com about the astonishing debt service numbers, economist Antony asked, "Does Congress know? Do they even care?" Two great questions, but obviously Congress does know, so the real question is, do they care? But the ultimate question is, are they going to do anything? As many investors have lost faith that Congress or our government will do anything about changing fiscal spending and reducing our debt, what are they doing? They are buying gold. Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, the world's largest hedge fund, is just one example. In a recent essay, Dalio said the reason he now owns gold is because it is a good diversifier that's supported by risks of debt defaults and inflation. In his piece extolling the virtues of gold as a potential weapon against what he sees as a dysfunctional financial system, Dalio challenged readers to ask themselves if they own enough non-debt money. Another well-known hedge fund manager, David Einhorn of Greenlight Capital, recently took a very large position in gold because of what he sees as problems with the overall monetary and fiscal policies of the country. Adding that deficits are ultimately a real problem, Einhorn said he believes stocking up on gold is a way to hedge the risk of something not so good happening. Even at this seemingly late date, policy analysts say there's still time for Congress to do what is necessary to right America's fiscal ship. But if it does not do those things, or does not do them in time, experts say the government could potentially capsize into a sea of debt. If that happens, it could be investors like Dalio and Einhorn who crafted their lifeboats from gold that stand the best chance of weathering the storm.